In this video, we are going to talk about the top 10 facts about the land of Pangaea. So before starting, please like this video and subscribe to this channel for future updates. When we first learned about Pangaea in school, it seemed like a mystical world where land stretched on forever and creatures and plants lived in places we couldn't fathom. It's incredible to consider how all of the continents fit together like a puzzle. Also, earthquakes and tectonic plates moving so much territory apart to create the Earth we know today is astonishing. Pangaea has been studied extensively, but there is still plenty that we don't know. The idea of Pangaea would not have been developed without the hypothesis of continental drift. Here are some fascinating facts about the Pangaea landmass that you probably didn't know. Number 10. Why did Pangaea form and break apart? Here are two of the most important questions about Pangaea: the supercontinent, what caused it to form in the first place, and what caused it to disintegrate. For researchers, this is where things become a little murky. Pangaea developed and broke apart for unknown reasons, according to scientists. Rather, there are numerous explanations. The majority of scientists think that the Earth's mantle is to blame. Scientists believe that the mantle heated up due to radioactive decay during times of plate movement, such as the breakup and creation of Pangaea. The mantle became unstable, and the plates began to move. This does not always occur, which is why supercontinents take so long to form and disband. It's amazing to consider how powerful the mantle is and how much it influences landforms today and throughout history. Number 9. The Great Rift Valley. Deep chasms are forming in Kenya, and the land appears to be tearing apart. The Great Rift Valley is the name given to this region. It's an incredible but disturbing sight. Like a scenario from a suspense film, the countryside is broken in half. These chasms are destroying homes and highways throughout this area. This type of land movement could signal the beginning of a new Pangaea development. Isn't it amazing that we can witness our land shifting to build a new supercontinent? So, what does this have to do with Pangaea? Clearly, a supercontinent the size of Pangaea will not arise anytime soon. However, this land movement supports hypotheses about Pangaea and how continental drift might result in supercontinent formation over millions of years. Number 8. Fossil evidence. The remarkable land creation of Pangaea has been revealed thanks to fossil data. Elephants and polar bears are no longer present in North America and Africa, respectively. Fossils from the Pangaea epoch demonstrate that the same species lived on many of today's continents, which would not have been conceivable unless the continents were linked. During the Triassic period, when Pangaea existed, Cynognathus was a land reptile. This creature's fossils have been discovered in South America and Africa. Another land reptile, Lystrosaurus, was discovered in India, Antarctica, and Africa. The distribution of these fossils would not have been feasible without Pangaea or other supercontinents. These species' fossil evidence is fascinating since it helps to illustrate that Pangaea existed so long ago. Number 7. Panthalassa. The Arctic, Atlantic, Pacific, Indian, and the newest member, the Southern Ocean, are all known to exist. These 5 oceans are massive and cover the majority of the planet. When Pangaea existed, there was only one ocean, Panthalassa, that covered the same amount of land. Only one ocean encircled the supercontinent since there was only one landmass, Pangaea. As a result, Panthalassa's currents would have been different from those of today's oceans. Panthalassa's currents, according to scientists, would have been extremely slow. Scientists also believe that such severe changes in tides, such as high and low tides, would not have occurred. This massive ocean would have been much calmer and had a more consistent temperature than our current oceans. Number 6. Functionality of oceans. The entire function of seas changed when Pangaea began to break apart. The breaking up of the land not only caused the ocean to split into distinct areas, but it also caused a change in the flow of currents. When the ocean was only Panthalassa, the currents began to revolve from west to east, which they had not done before. The distribution of cool and warm tides also came to an end. Because the oceans became more shut off from one another, the currents were unable to transfer the warm water as quickly, causing the ocean temperatures to drastically shift. Number 5. Climate.
Researchers believe that when Pangaea existed, the interior regions of today's continents were quite arid and did not get much rainfall.
This is akin to a desert climate, and it happened because the area was surrounded by mountains, which kept the rain out. Researchers assume that regions of Pangaea around the equator would have been a tropical rainforest, based on the discovery of coal deposits in particular areas. It's bizarre enough to consider how different the weather would have been on Pangaea, but it's even stranger to consider how scientists can learn about that ancient continent by studying coal deposits.
Number 4. Mass extinction. Many animals are currently on the edge of extinction, which is a sad state of affairs.
We do not, on the other hand, witness a large number of species go extinct at the same time very often.
Even though mass extinctions are extremely unusual, they have occurred in the past and will continue to occur in the future.
A mass extinction catastrophe happened around 252 million years ago, during the time of the Pangaea extinction event. The Great Dying was a term used to describe this era of time. This extinction resulted in the survival of species that were ultimately found to be cousins of birds. During this time period, the first dinosaur species were discovered as well.
Number 3. Cycles of supercontinents.
We are well aware that our area is considerably different from the supercontinent Pangaea in appearance. In reality, scientists believe that the current arrangement of our planet will not continue forever and that a new Pangaea may form at some point in the future. Throughout Earth's history, the continents have gathered together to form supercontinents and subsequently dispersed to form individual continents. As a result, it is not out of the question that it will occur at some point in the future. In fact, Australia is moving closer to Asia at the moment, and the two continents may eventually merge to form a supercontinent. How long would it take for a supercontinent to emerge, and how likely is it that we would see another one in our lifetimes? It would take around 300 to 400 million years to recreate Pangaea, and then another 300 to 400 million years for it to disintegrate again. As a result, we will not be able to witness this incredible landmass in our lifetimes.
Number 2. Animal life. Pangaea appears to be a land that we could encounter on another planet. It has a similar feel to it. Think about what could have been living on this area that was so different from what our planet looks like today. It's strange to ponder the possibilities. Pangaea was home to a diverse range of animal species, much of which was in stark contrast to the animal life we are accustomed to. During the time of Pangaea, an animal family known as the Traversiodontidae made its initial appearance.
A progenitor of the mammals, this herbivorous animal is said to have evolved from this plant-eating species. During the period of Pangaea, insect life flourished as well. Beetles and dragonflies, in particular, could be seen everywhere. The growth of archosaurs occurred throughout the Triassic period, which finally resulted in the appearance of crocodiles and birds. Finally, as previously said, the first sightings of dinosaurs occurred. They did, however, appear to be a little different than we might have expected. Scientists believe that these dinosaurs had air-filled bones and were covered in feathers, as evidenced by their feathers. Several of the species that existed on Pangaea gave rise to the animals that can be found all around us today. Number 1. The name Pangaea. Pangaea is a quirky and symbolic name that has a lot of meaning. Alfred Wegener, a meteorologist from Germany, was the first person to suggest the concept of a supercontinent, back in 1912. He was researching the notion of continental drift when he came to the conclusion that a supercontinent, or a group of continents, may have existed at some point in the distant past. So why did he choose the name Pangaea for his creation? Pangaea, on the other hand, is derived from the Greek term Pangaea, which literally translates as all of Earth. Pangaea was the fitting name for the supercontinent because it included all of the Earth's land in a single location. Of course, Wegener's hypothesis drew significant criticism, which he accepted. However, without his work on continental drift and Pangaea, there would have been no data gathered on these topics at the time. What do you think about our video? Let us know in the comment box below. Please like this video and subscribe to this channel for our future updates. Thank you.